creation through bomb and form. The greatest to ever do it like Kareem in the form. Or Dame at the buzzer, Skip at the rucker. 96 Bulls, the GOAT, there's no other. Bulls and Goats get some wins, but never cover. The word gave the answer to sin. No stuff.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Plays. I am your host, Davion, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the co-host, Eric.
That's me, last I checked, at least. Hello.
Eric, we're in a weird football time frame where both of us are happy for a week because I don't have to be upset about things, but I definitely still have Eagles things to talk about randomly. And then, you're coming off an awesome win. Life is good,
true.
man.
We beat the Raiders for the first time in like 4 years.
Beautiful.
Katie was very excited that I didn't have a shitty Sunday because the Broncos didn't lose to the Raiders, so life was good.
Beautiful thing. And so what we're going to do today for Behind the Plays, this awesome episode, we're going to obviously talk to you about that Broncos game because Eric, we love hearing Eric be happy for 3 consecutive weeks, may I add. We're each going to highlight a couple games. We're actually going to go through some quarter season award winners today. I think that was a fun idea that we had. We've done it in the past, and I wanted to bring it back. We're going to go over our week 6 predictions, which week 6 feels crazy. And then we're going to get up out of here. So before we get started, I wanted to briefly talk about what happened in Eagle Land because I thought it was really weird. We released Devin White yesterday.
After he didn't appear in any games.
Didn't play. Was healthy scratches. The only time he wasn't a healthy scratch was week 4 where he took a personal day. And I guess it's just Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond. They just really like the combo and they just never played Devin White. Yeah, so it is what it is. Speaking of the Eagles, their injury report just dropped, and it looks like A.J. Brown is a full participant in practice, which is beautiful.
Huge.
So
nice.
He should be back. Thank God. Oh, my God. Oh, I didn't see if Lane Johnson and Devontae Smith were also on that full practice list. They both are indeed on the full practice participants.
That's
as
also
well.
Huge.
Okay, the only limited person was Nakobe Dean. That was it.
That's good. Okay,
That's
well,
fine.
Eagles should theoretically be having a bit of a bounce back week against the Browns, so
Thank
that'll
God.
be nice. Gonna get back into some swings.
Yeah, and
getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, and I want us to not have as many close games because I know if we go through a couple more things, we're gonna be in the same category as a. I meant to say before I keep going because I'm gonna make this joke because it's a leeway joke and it's to get us to the next talking point I wanted to talk about. Cooper DeJean is starting at nickel over Avonte Maddox this week. Was announced by Vic Fangio earlier today, actually. So today being Wednesday, October 9th. My brain was not braining there for a second. So they're officially starting the milk duo, the I don't know the defensive what's their I don't even know what to call them. We got 2 white defensive backs, all right? We got 2 of them. They're starting. Reed Blankenship
for the first time in over 20 years.
Reed Blankenship at safety, Cooper DeJean in the slot. Crazy, bro. But I was going to say, if we do not bounce back this week, I think we're going to be having similar conversations as the Jets had this earlier this week, as they did indeed fire their head coach Robert Saleh, and expected.
What a wild story!
I think week 5 feels a little crazy, but
Last time we had a firing this early in the season was Matt Rule when the Panthers fired him. And the Panthers are dysfunctional because of it. Weird how it's the Jets making a decision like this. So the rumor goes that Robert Saleh had made plans and spoken with other coaches about potentially demoting the offensive coordinator Nathaniel Couldn't Hackett.
Valid.
And giving play calling duties to another coach, and about 5 minutes later, Robert Saleh was fired.
Wow.
And needed to be escorted out of the building by security.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy to me, because Robert Saleh kind of felt like one of the more competent coaches in the league, and it's definitely unfortunate that this situation happens because. Does Robert Saleh deserve to get fired? No, I don't really see a reason to fire him. Maybe at the end of the season you're considering it if the Jets kind of keep the track that they have been.
Right.
But right now, no. Week 5 feels way too early for this to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, people are talking about other coaches that should be fired. Nick Sirianni is obviously on the hot seat. for some reasons that make total sense, especially in recent
But like, who
weeks.
else?
But like, actually, I couldn't tell you another coach that's on a hot seat. I would say
Maybe
they just
like,
started winning though, but like Eberflus was on the hot seat for a couple weeks there.
maybe Zach Taylor with the Bengals.
Yeah, no, that's probably one. That's a candidate. But yeah, no, everybody else is kind of like makes sense. To keep doing
Dennis
what they're
Allen, the Saints, maybe.
doing. Could
But
be.
it feels like those are just like a bunch of maybes. Like, it feels like it's Nick
Nothing's for
Sirianni.
sure. Yeah,
I feel like Nick
respectfully.
Sirianni should have been fired before Robert Saleh was fired, if I'm being honest.
No, I agree. And I thought I was gonna. So it was actually something I was gonna bring up today's podcast. I was like, man, it feels like Nick Sirianni is gonna be the first coach fired midway through this season if the Eagles keep trending this direction. But you know, the Jets just wanted to be something first, and I get it. So, yeah, pretty crazy, pretty crazy. But
Pretty crazy indeed.
That is all for random updates here on the week. Let's talk about it. Broncos at home against the Las Vegas Raiders take the dub. They officially moved to second place in the AFC West.
We're going to begin this conversation by saying that the Broncos still suck because I'm not convinced that they're good because I'm not doing that thing where I have hope.
Three in a
We're
row,
we're gonna stay that from the very beginning. Okay. However,
where's the factor where we stop going with this trend?
the Broncos win a Super Bowl.
That's a lot. That's a lot of expectation there.
Maybe the Broncos make the playoffs is when I'll start. It was when I'll stop being convinced that the Broncos suck.
Okay.
Whether it happens this year, next year, in 20 years, whatever it might be. When the Broncos make the playoffs, I'll be convinced that they don't suck as much as I think they do.
Okay.
But for right now, the Broncos suck because I'm not having hope. Sorry.
Got it. No hope. Hope doesn't exist. Happy you guys won 3 in a row.
However, huge fan of this win, obviously.
Yep, 2 scores.
Broncos
16-point win.
Broncos started off pretty slow, and all it took was a 100-yard pick six by Pat Surtain, reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Pat Surtain, by the way.
Love that.
First time we've had that happen in like forever. Feels like
Probably
we've
like
had
Von Miller.
probably like Von Miller, yeah. But I want to say we've had a few like special teams players of the week before.
Mm-hmm.
But as far back as I can remember, this is our first defensive player of the week in a long time. I mean, we said this at the beginning of the year. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Pat Surtain is the best player on the Broncos.
Right.
I don't think it's any question. So 100-yard pick six. Riley Moss also had a pick, the first white corner to get a pick in the NFL in like forever.
I could see that. I wanted it to be the boy Cooper, but I understand.
Well, I just read a stat. It's the first time in over 20 years that we will have more than one white cornerback playing and starting in the NFL, and it's your Eagles and my Broncos breaking barriers or something.
Thought?
Who would have thought? Bo Nix had a pretty good day, 19 to 27, 206, 2 touchdowns, much better than throwing for 60 yards and still winning the game.
I started him in a fantasy league this week, and he got me like
Bo
20
Nix?
something points. I had to. He was my only person I could play.
Oh, jeez.
I think it was in the Dynasty League that we're in with Rez.
Oh, okay.
I think it is.
What happened to Jordan Love? I literally traded
him.
you Jordan Love last year.
I traded him.
Well, why did you fucking do that?
I got good players. I don't.
That's your mistake.
Yeah, I think
Dog,
Stafford,
I made the free agency acquisition of the year because I traded you Jordan Love, and then like my backups outside of that, I have Lamar in that league, and then I traded you Jordan Love last year when you had your quarterback disaster.
Yeah, that whole fun time. Yep, that was tough.
Yeah, got some stuff out of that.
Great deal for you.
And I think I had Justin Fields, who I dropped at the beginning of the season when it was projected that he was going to be the backup to Russell Wilson. Whatever, I'll eat that. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then who else did I have? I think somebody else who lost their job. I can't think of. Maybe it was like Ryan Tannehill or something like that. So going into this season, I had Lamar. I only had one pick in our draft, and I spent it on Caleb Williams. Which, that was the first QB off the board at the time. I think it was fine. Right. But then I made what could perhaps be the free agent acquisition of the fucking century when I picked up Sam Darnold as my backup right now in that league. And I'm like, I basically had the Vikings offense. I have Sam Darnold, and I have all
You have
three of their.
Jettas too, yeah.
I have Jettas, I have Jordan Addison, I have Jalen Naylor too.
So I basically turned Jordan Love into that. I traded. It was a wild trade. I think I lost Henry in the trade too. I don't remember who else came back. I think I got Stafford, and then I basically got the third pick in the draft. Is what happened.
Gotcha.
And I got Brock Bowers, who turned into Isaiah Likely, Roma Dunze, and a future second round pick. So I think it was a great situation
That's
for me.
not a bad situation at all.
Yeah, so it ended up becoming a really solid situation for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I had the flexibility. I have Jalen Hurts and Bo Nix. So Bo Nix started for me this week, and it was just 1 week I needed him. 22.84, brother. So Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I'm on the Bo Nix train. So yeah, I ended up drafting
I
quarterbacks
started
in the third round. I have Penix and Bo Nix on my roster. So I was like,
Gotcha.
I wanted to get these quarterbacks. So I was like, I'm gonna let Jordan Love go to get a higher pick to get like a more of skill player, and it ended up working out really well for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. I started Josh Reynolds, who caught his first touchdown as a Bronco. So I was excited about that. That was his only catch this game, but it was a catch.
3 interceptions. Pat Surtain had 2 of them.
Yep, Pat
With his
Surtain had
picks,
2 of
that's
them,
crazy.
and Riley Moss had the other one.
What a game.
Raiders right now, I believe, are having a little bit of a QB battle. Antonio Pierce has said we don't know if we're starting Gardner or Aiden O'Connell this week.
Yeah, they look equally as bad, low key.
Yeah.
Gardner looks a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like the answer is Gardner long term, but like, is what it is.
When you have Brock Bowers, like you're getting the ball, I think they need to get the ball to Jacoby Myers a little bit more, but I think he just came back this week. I think it's his first week playing. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
Playing.
It was honestly the Broncos defense that kind of kept them in this game with 3 turnovers, believe it or not. Because the Raiders actually outperformed the Broncos just barely on pretty much every relevant offensive stat. Passing yards, rushing yards, yards per play, first downs, third down efficiency, things like that. Like offensively, statistically, the Raiders were better on offense, and it was the Broncos defense that put them in this game, and the Broncos took advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, and I mean
they didn't have to get a tremendous amount of yards because they're scoring points off of 3 turnovers.
Right.
So the defense played amazing, and the offense definitely played well enough.
And then
for sure.
Yeah, and they didn't turn the ball over, which is the big part.
Yes.
And then on top of all of that, it's when you're scoring points on the defensive side of the ball, that'll turn into wins every day of the week.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. I'm so happy for you guys. Seriously, love to see the Broncos succeed in some part of the season. So
nope, they're horrible.
Yeah, of course. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do. They have more wins than the Eagles for the first time in a long time, honestly. On this
first time since we've been doing this podcast.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
Definitely not. That first season was the Carson Wentz before he got released season, and it was.
I'm pretty sure the Broncos went like 6-10 that year.
Yeah, we won 3 football games that year. We went like 3-13-1 or some shit like that. 3-12. I swear to God, we were last because that's the year we got Devontae Smith with the 10th pick. We only won like 3 or 4 football games.
You don't get the 10th pick with only 3 or 4 wins.
That league was shit, bro. My entire division, we were last in our division that year. I swear. We were terrible. 4-11-1. We went 4-11-1. We won 4 football games. The Cowboys and Giants both won 6, and then the Commanders won 7. Because that was the year where we could have made the playoffs at 6-11-1.
That's what. Okay, I do remember. I do remember this now. Okay.
But yeah, the teams that were under us, but because we had the tie, we fell further down, right? So it screwed us. So the Falcons had a better pick than us at 4-12. You guys won 5 football games, by the way, that year. Jacksonville had 1 win. Houston had 4 wins. Cincinnati.
So that was
when
T-Law was drafted, huh?
Correct.
That's when because the Jets won a game
2.
late in the season to blow it out and not get T-Law and end up getting Zach Wilson.
Right. Cincinnati Bengals went 4. I think they were the team we tied to that season. So we ended up tying, so there was no tiebreaker between them, and I think they won out because we had a better divisional record or some craziness like that. It was something weird. So it was crazy. That was the year we got Devontae Smith. That was the year the Eagles franchise turned around.
Was that the year the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase?
Had to have been. So it would have been what, the 2021 draft?
Because T-Law was the year after Joe Burrow, and I'm pretty sure Jamar Chase was the year after Joe Burrow.
2021 draft, Zach Wilson. So Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, because the Niners traded
Yeah.
up Pitts, Chase, yep, Waddle went 6,
Yeah.
Penei Sewell went 7. Yeah, no, it had to have been because they were in that this wide receiver class was discussed. That was also the year you guys got Pat Surtain. That's a crazy class. Just off the if you just take away the first 4 players, the class is insane. Like if you were like, oh hey look, breaking news, Spencer Rattler's gonna start for the Saints on Sunday.
Officially starting.
I just got breaking news. Crazy.
Neat. All right, good.
So T-Law, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Pitts. After that, every pick after is like kind of nuts if you think about it. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, Elijah Vera Tucker. We don't talk about Mac Jones. Then there's Zayvon Collins.
Mac Old Reliable Jones.
Zayvon Collins, Alex Leather. Like, these are phenomenal football. That's crazy. And then after that, it's kind of like, oh, there's Najee and
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy draft after 4. Like even
Right.
Kyle Pitts isn't the worst pick in the world.
no, he's just not getting utilized.
But like yeah, so like I would argue like this is kind of a crazy draft outside of Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
This is also the season that this draft honestly saved the Eagles because we got Smitty and then we got Landon Dickerson in the same draft class. And he's our starting left guard for anybody wanting to know. Pat Fryermuth was in this draft. Asante Samuel Jr. was in this draft. It's crazy that Davis Mills might be one of the more successful quarterbacks in this draft.
I would argue Davis Mills was more successful than Zach Wilson, definitely more successful than Trey Lance.
Facts.
Yeah, I don't
tough.
think you can argue Mac Jones though.
Paulson
Unfortunately.
Adebo. Paulson Adebo was pretty solid. Dude, this Trey Sermon's in this draft. Nico Collins was a 3rd rounder in this draft.
Lots of fun stuff.
Amon-Ra was a 4th rounder in this draft.
He was a 4th rounder.
Dude, this draft is Ramondre Stevenson was in this. Zach McPherson was in this draft. Dude, he's not even good, and it pains me that he wasn't good. Chuba Hubbard was in this draft. Chuba Hubbard feels like he's older than he actually is. Is that just me? Shooter McPherson was in this draft.
It feels like Chuba Hubbard's been in this league forever.
Noah Gray is in this draft, and he's been cooking this season because all the receivers are dying. Unfortunately. I feel like there's one more name I'm missing in this draft. Who am I missing? Oh, Elijah Mitchell. It's a solid one. He's a 6th rounder. Oh, Chris Evans was in this draft? That's crazy. I didn't know we got Captain America. Nah, he's 6th rounder to the Bengals. It's kind of funny. There's one other guy. I know I'm missing someone. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm probably just crazy.
Probably just crazy.
Oh, you guys got Kerry Vincent Jr. in this draft. And then we picked him up off your practice squad. We never played him like an idiot. He was actually decent, and we needed cornerbacks, and we just never played the young dudes. We were so stuck on our ways because that was the year we were trying to actually, bounce back from, fumbling. Anyway, and then you have like Kadarius Toney,
Shout out to Kadarius Toney.
Eric Stokes was in this draft. Rashad Bateman was in this draft. Greg Newsome the second, Travis Etienne, and Gregory Rousseau were in this draft. Okay, there's the other ones I was looking for. Those are crazy. That's crazy.
Solid little draft outside of the QBs, it looks like.
Honestly, even like Justin Fields was arguably like the best QB in this draft.
I mean, it's him and T-Law for sure.
Yeah.
We can sit here and argue about the order.
Facts. 1 and 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shout out to the Broncos, dude. Honestly, I'm just winning against the Raiders just brings our boy joy. That's all that matters. All right. I keep letting you go first, and you keep stealing the game I want to talk about. So I'm going first today in our highlighted games.
That's fine.
Bro, I got to watch most of this game because of Red Zone. Dude, Ravens versus Bengals was lit, man.
Yeah, that was
game
of the year so far?
I'd argue it had to be. Ravens were down 10 with like 5 minutes left. They came back and won. The touchdown that cut the lead to 3 from Lamar Jackson was just cash money. It was beautiful. Like, what a play from Lamar, and obviously Isaiah Likely getting another 2-touchdown game this season. I think he hasn't had anything like that since week 1, where we thought he was the next coming of freaking Jesus. So, but
the next coming of Mark Andrews, perhaps.
Maybe. I was trying to think of a black tight end that actually made sense for that, and I could not think of one. Every tight end I could think of was white. So
Antonio Gates, Darren Waller,
okay.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez isn't white or black, but he's not white either.
He's
so
not white.
We'll go Tony. Tony feels good.
Tony G. Okay.
And then of course forcing overtime. In overtime, the fumble sucked. Then you come in and Shooter misses his field goal. It was like watching a freaking movie, bro. Like I was watching everything. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, the person that was working, I was at work, and we were just under our tent watching the kids play their games. So we were just vibing, and the person with me, she's a Ravens fan, so she's like, "Oh, we're gonna lose," and I'm like, "Oh, well, it's Lamar Jackson. Who knows?" And then they tie it up, and then the fumble happened. She's like, "Fuck," and I was like, "I'm sorry. They probably gonna lose." McPherson's kind of him, and then he missed it. She was like, "Let's go!" And we were like, "Holy crap!" And then right after the nice little handoff, Derrick Henry said, "Let me run this thing 51 yards," and he only had 92 yards on the game, and 51 of those came from that one play in overtime, which brought them all the way to the 6-yard line for the GOAT Jay Tuck to kick the game winner. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like watching a movie, bro. What a game.
Yeah, this was a crazy good game. This felt like a college game.
Yeah.
I
get it.
This had flashes of that fabled, 2017?
Talking about Iron Bowl?
I'm talking about the Chiefs-Rams game.
Oh, you're talking about professional. I thought we were talking college. I was like, are we going
Well,
Iron
it's
Bowl?
still flashes of this wouldn't have been 2017. That's when Patrick Mahomes was drafted.
Yeah, so it's probably
This
the
would
year
have been
after.
2018, 2019, maybe ish, yeah.
That 51-54
Well, 20
where the Rams won by a field goal.
2017 would have been the year after Jared Goff was drafted.
Well,
this had to have been like 2019.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But
It was
still,
crazy.
it had flashes of that.
No, I understand what you're talking about. That game was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The craziest part about this is people keep telling me Lamar Jackson can't throw the football, bro. He's not a quarterback. Bro threw for 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 348 yards, 26-42. Joey B, 30 of 39, 392 yards, 5 tutties, 1 interception. Dude, they combined for 9 touchdowns, bro.
Can you imagine throwing 5 touchdowns and losing the game? That's kind of crazy.
Bro, yeah, I mean, and you put your team in a position to win the game.
Yeah, you absolutely do. It's just, the Bengals, they kind of blew this game, honestly. Like, this was the best we've seen the Bengals all year by, like, a lot.
I disagree.
If the Bengals are
they looked
disagree?
They looked good against the Chiefs, too. Like, they just
That's
keep
true.
losing.
They look pretty good against
They
the
keep
Chiefs.
losing close games. Because they didn't even look bad against the Commanders. The Commanders just looked immaculate that week. They also
That's true.
The only games that I'm saying that they looked poor in was week 1 where they lost, and then they won the other game, right? That everything else to me is they looked pretty decent. They're just losing the close games. So that's just my opinion. But this looked amazing. Like they didn't look bad. It's just they can't find ways to finish games. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's just tough, bro.
Well, this week is a nice little tester, Sunday Night Football against the Giants for the Bengals. Theoretically, that's a winnable game, but the Giants also just beat the previously undefeated Seahawks last week, too. So
It's the Seahawks, though. I would say I think the Bengals are a better football team than the Seahawks. That's just my
agree.
opinion, though. Even if one's 1-4 and the other one's like 3-1 or 4-1 or whatever they are.
I also don't really want to say this out loud, but given the history of the Bengals and where they are playing, I'm very nervous about this game, too.
You and me both.
know?
I also don't want to put that out in the universe, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the specific words, but the people who are paying attention know what we're talking about here.
Correct. MetLife is a fun time.
Yeah.
As someone who knows goes in there every year, which guess where we're at? Week 7.
Mm-hmm.
After we just got everyone healthy. So yeah, I loved everything about this game. This game was so much fun. It was like watching a movie, bro. It was like punch after punch after punch after just hit, and then it was like a big play defensively. Oh, we got this, we did this, we got the stop, we forced the fumble, we did this. It was just crazy. And then the missed field goal, bro, just set it over the top. And of course, the King had to call game. I thought he was gonna run it in for the touchdown. My fantasy team was yelling. He was like, "Go, please, I beg." And he didn't finish it off. And I was like, "It's okay. You got your 50 yards. That's enough."
It's huge.
All right, what you got for me?
Okay, well, you took the obvious one here.
Yeah, that's the best.
That was kind of a
one
no
this
dove thing. I think the next best game was probably Cardinals Niners. Let's talk about that.
Really was a great game. That is not the game I thought you were going to go with. I do have my second game too now. That was awesome. That was
a great game.
I
Very
didn't
close
watch
game.
the end of the game because I was driving home. But then I got the notification on my phone, like, oh, Cardinals win by 1. I was like, what? They were down by 10. What happened?
Cardinals came back and won. They were down by 13 heading into halftime.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Like,
And shut up the Niners
the second half.
and
Wow.
in the second half and won. So pretty impressive win from the Cardinals for sure. What's going on with the Niners, man? Like they were supposed to be the team in the NFC.
I can vouch. Obviously, I don't know if there is. Obviously, losing Christian McCaffrey sucks. Who's their left? What's the left tackle? Something Williams. I can never remember.
Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. I always want to call him Tavon Williams or something like that. Is he okay?
I believe he's hurt right now.
I believe that's why. You want me to
Yeah,
be
that
honest with
team.
you?
Yeah, that team
That's
needs
why.
those players for sure.
That's why. If
Yeah.
he's not playing this season, they say he's started in 5 games, played all 5 games. So I don't know. I don't know
I
how
thought
to
Trent Williams. I could have sworn Trent Williams was hurt.
Maybe he was on the injury report.
Maybe he got hurt in a game, came out, but played the next week or something like that.
That's all I
could
could
be
think
what
of. I
happened.
know
I
he
feel like I
left.
remember Trent Williams going out.
Yeah, I remember him leaving a game early. Like he played,
Yeah.
but he left.
Yeah, solid game for sure. Cardinals
Yeah,
Niners.
he's played 5 games this season.
Yeah, impressive little comeback from the Cardinals. Are we panicking on the Niners? Like,
No,
do we think the Niners are screwed without Christian McCaffrey?
they did this last season. You want to be honest with you? They did this exactly last season. They lost 3 in a row and then proceeded to win like 10 straight. So
That's true.
I I have to give someone props. The thing that it is the Cardinals defense is phenomenal. They have very big pieces that help a ton. They had Kaiser White who got an interception. They had Mac Wilson who got an interception, and that's like not their best defensive pieces. So those guys
Yeah.
getting picks and making plays like Davion Collins, Buda Baker, Sean Murphy Bunting are their bigger names, right? But they were impactful with ending possessions and doing those types of things. I think the bigger thing that we should be concerned about, honestly, is the fact that Brock Purdy threw 2 picks out of anything. But honestly, it feels like a one-off. But Deebo Samuel not getting involved was more so what I'd be concerned about, because when you have a running back who's making up for the lack of Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, playing really, really well. I mean, he had 89 yards, 6.5 average is nothing to sneeze at for a game. And then Brandon Ayuk had 147 receiving yards on 8 catches. The biggest number I'm looking at is Deebo Samuel. I can give him a pass for the last couple of weeks because they've been basically playing with Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Mason, Brock Purdy in a freaking dream. And like, while those are good pieces, they had to have that Jawan Jennings mega game just to stay in that other game, right? So that's tough. But now that they have everyone but McCaffrey back, your offense revolves around Christian McCaffrey. He's your game plan, which is fine. But you have you forgot that you guys were winning football games when Christian McCaffrey wasn't there. So like, you need to go back to that, and I think that's what Shanahan needs to do this coming week.
Yep, they got little tester Thursday night division matchup against the Seahawks in Seattle. So
I think it'll be a good game. I hope so, at least for the Niners' sake.
Okay, draw me another one.
Yeah, give me Bills Texans, man. I think
Okay.
the Texans coming in and winning this game was really, really important. They went off a game-winning field goal at expiration. Not really something I expected to happen. I definitely expected the Bills to come and win this game. And it looked for a minute that they might have actually won the game. They ended up not doing so, which was a little sad to see. But I'm definitely happy to see the Texans are being overly successful this season. What are they, 4-1 now? Like,
They are now 4-1.
This is a great start to the season after what I felt like was a weird start to the season, because they barely beat the Colts. Beat them by
Barely
like
beat
2
the Colts.
points.
Beat the Bears by
beat
1
the Bears
score.
by 6.
Got their shit rocked by the Vikings.
Absolutely rocked by the Vikings, like torched by the Vikings. And they came out and
Yep.
beat.
Snuck out a win against the Jaguars, and now snuck out a win against the Bills.
Right, so a lot of sneaking out. And
I think I saw something that they're like 4-1 with like a minus 12 point differential or something like that.
there's no way.
Yeah,
I need to see that. Let's confirm
they've
this.
won. They've won by 2,
They did get blown out.
by
so that makes
6,
sense.
by 4, and now by 3, but they lost by 27.
Standings. Let's see. I gotta know now. Texans are 4-1, and they lead their division by a healthy 2 games with -12 differential.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, they're leading the division by 2 games, right? Baltimore just took over the division, by the way. That's pretty cool. Interesting to see. Yeah, no, that's tough. But they win, right? Finding ways to win is always the hard part. But I usually am okay with that when they're like teams that we are like, oh yeah, like the Niners winning games like that. We're like, oh, we're not worried. Chiefs winning games like that. Oh, we're not really too worried about them, right? Then it feels like there's teams like the Texans where it's like, you guys haven't really established yourself as much yet. You guys won a playoff game last year. Great. Happy for you. But you guys haven't been good in a long time. So it's like, this is a weird territory. So squeaking out wins. But when you're beating good teams, you expect them to be close games. Divisional opponents on the road, you expect those to be close games. So I'm trying not to like read too into it. But it also feels like they're playing games and they're also like, they shouldn't be. They end up throwing themselves out of the chance to win the football game. Like they end up just squeaking it out. So Buffalo I think it's Josh Allen didn't throw an interception, but he went 9 of 30, right? Like that's rough. They gave James Cook 20 carries and he scored. Like he did great. Keon Coleman had the big touchdown, but it was like they're right there. I feel like you get a little bit better. Like even if you get 50% of your completions, you're probably looking at a win instead of a loss here if you're Buffalo. Whereas CJ Stroud on the opposite side was playing out of his mind. So it's just like, it's just kind of figuring it out and keep moving forward. But they are going to be without Nico Collins for 4 games.
Yes, Nico Collins did officially hit the IR today.
Yeah, but Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell should be enough to make that up.
I think so.
Dalton Schultz as a tight end. So I think they're fine. They're going to, like you said, they're going to have, they get the Patriots on the road, which I don't think is like crazy. But then they play the
Patriots, who are starting Drake May this week, by the way.
True. This is a rookie quarterback.
So
that's even more notating. And then the Texans are playing the Packers. I think that Week 7 matchup is going to be very interesting because we saw what the Vikings did to them. Which they're lucky. I think they're lucky that they got this Buffalo team at home. Is all I'm going to say.
I think so too. Yeah. Speaking of Stephon Diggs, listen, man, I'm not one to air dirty laundry. I just think the memes are hilarious.
They're great. You saw the picture of him staring at Josh Allen? That was funny.
I saw the pic of Stephon Diggs. So, did you see the full story that came out?
About Cardi?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite was, do you by chance remember a video that was posted by the Vikings forever ago where they were interviewing people in the locker room?
Yes.
And the question was, who on this team would you least like to date your sister? And everybody says Stephon Diggs.
Yes. Everybody said Stephon Diggs, and we all were like, dang, he can't be that bad of a guy. And now we're getting this, and we're like, wow.
My favorite clip is that news story coming out, and Dalvin Cook going, bro, what? Diggs. And then he looks at the he turns his face, has the most like perplexed look on his face, and then it hits him. He turns back to the interviewer and just says, "Oh, Diggs." Easy. So
that's great.
That's burned into my brain.
That's hilarious.
Bro, what?
Oh, Diggs.
So that was my favorite part of this. Like, you do whatever.
You do with that knowledge.
I'm not knocking Stephon Diggs for this moment because I think there's better shit in the world to talk about than this. But man, is it funny.
It is. The memes are quite.
Yes. Okay.
We had a lot of close games this week, by the way.
One more to pick out for me. I mean, we kind of already talked about Falcons Buccaneers because we
did get to talk about it last podcast.
We got to talk about it last podcast.
Phenomenal game.
Which was a phenomenal game. Is probably one I would talk about here, but I think, obviously in the interest of not repeating ourselves, somebody else. How about Jaguars getting their first win?
Yeah, good for them.
Another close game.
Yeah, and a game-winning field goal against the Colts, who I feel like struggled a little bit, but the Colts were struggling, and they almost won this game because the Jags almost threw it away. I don't know if you watched this game at all, but it was pretty nuts.
And to be fair, Colts without Anthony Richardson, without Jonathan Taylor this game. So you're starting Joe
Put up
Flacco,
34 points.
put up who balled out. You're starting Trey Sermon, who balled out. To be fair, Alec Pierce had a monster game as well.
Bro, he had that. He had he only had 3 catches, but the 2 he got back to back in the fourth quarter were nuts. He had the big one that brought them down, and then Trey Sermon got his touchdown of the game, and then it was the one where he actually ended up scoring. And it was pretty insane, that series of events. But I love that you picked this game. I want to notate the fourth quarter score, because if the fourth quarter score was 24-17, by the way.
Yeah.
Literally,
Which is
20 to 14
insane.
before the fourth quarter. It was 20 to 14 before the fourth quarter. Or, I'm sorry, 20 to 10 before the fourth quarter. That's absurd. How many points were scored in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
41 total points. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Love it.
So Jaguars pick up their first win of the season. We will not have any winless teams this year. We still currently have 2 undefeated teams, and they will remain undefeated because both of them are on bye this week.
Bro, it's so weird that, it's like, hey, who are the undefeated teams this season in 2024? Yeah, the Chiefs.
Oh, I can
yeah,
see
right.
that.
And the Vikings with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. You said what now?
Yeah, right.
Like, what?
I know. That's super cool that the Vikings are having a year, though.
I'm happy for it.
It's like, it's weird. It's
weird.
so weird, but it's so much fun.
It is definitely fun. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed watching this game. This game was very interesting. And then if you look at the scoring drives, it was crazy what happened, because the Jags scored a touchdown, then they got the touchdown from Trey Sermon up a yard, the 1 yard touchdown. Then they forced a punt. And then they go down and score in 4 plays, the 65-yarder, and then they get and then of course the field goal to win the game. So
Yep. T.L. threw that 85-yard touchdown to Brian Thomas too.
yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Crazy fun game.
Crazy fun game. And honestly,
We had a
really
lot of
solid week.
We had
of
a
football.
lot of bangers this week.
Yeah.
We had even Bears Panthers at least was interesting, because you had a duel of incompetency and one team proved to be much more incompetent.
It was very fun watching the Bears kind of.
Dolphins Patriots was pretty boring. This week. Dolphins Patriots was pretty boring. Commanders Browns was a slaughter fest.
Which we need
but
to have
every
a
other
conversation
game
about
was
the
at least
Commanders.
semi-interesting.
We really need to have a conversation.
Yeah, the Commanders are kind of they are forward one ever since losing week 1 to the Buccaneers, who we know is a good team. They outrank the Bucs now.
They absolutely, and what's crazy about the Bucs is the Bucs slaughtered them. They won by 3 scores. So it's coming out and seeing that, it's weird.
Well, it kind of felt like the Commanders had that game where they scored 7 field goals and won the game somehow.
The Giants game, yeah.
And then after that, Jaden Daniels kind of picked it up, and he's
figured
cooking
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So yeah, Commanders low-key kind of threats in the NFC. Would you believe me if I told you that the best teams in the NFC are at the beginning of the year we're gonna be, or imagine traveling back in time to 2014 and saying, oh yeah, in 10 years from now the best teams in the NFC are going to be the Vikings, the Lions, and the Commanders, and then they're going to be who are the Commanders? But
yeah, no, your division leaders right now are Vikings, who have the 1 seed, Commanders, who have the 2 seed, the Seahawks, not the Niners,
which
Seahawks,
is kind of crazy, by the way,
and they were,
and the Falcons,
and the Falcons, because they have 2 divisional wins. So yeah,
they have the tiebreaker over the Bucs.
Oh, they do have the tie. They did win this week, so they have the tiebreaker. That's nuts. And it's hey guys, at the beginning of the season, if you were to tell me at the week 5 mark, oh hey, everyone in the North is gonna have a winning record, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, it's weird seeing.
To be fair, well, yeah, no, I guess it is kind of crazy. We were kind of expecting Lions and Packers to have winning records at this point.
Sure,
but
3-1,
Bears
3-2
and Vikings,
is fine, but
yeah, Bears and Vikings are definitely the shockers.
I thought a 2-3.
Yeah, I think they were pushing
expect...
2 and 3. I thought the Vikings weren't going to be shit. I thought they were kind of screwed.
I didn't
honestly,
think 5-0 though.
Yeah, I did not think. I was expecting 1-4 at this point, maybe.
Right, and it's crazy to me because there's more 1-win teams in the AFC than there are in the NFC. Which is insane to me. The North themselves have as many as the entire NFC.
I mean, we've been talking a little bit this year that for a long time it was the AFC was crazy good, and then there was just a few good teams in the NFC, and it kind of feels like we talked about how it was kind of balancing itself out. It might be honestly leaning the other way. I think overall, the NFC could be better than the AFC right now.
We'll have to see, because I think there are teams that are normally supposed to be good that are kind of sucking right now, and that's, of course, the Dolphins. Injuries, though. The Jets, I have no clue what's going on in that dysfunctional franchise right now. The Bengals, who I don't know. The Jaguars, I expected to be better, and I don't know. And then, the West just feels like the Chiefs and the rest of them. So, however, I mean, listen, I'm just saying, the Broncos are currently sitting in 6th seed right now. Just want to throw that out.
I know. The Broncos were the 5 seed before.
Crazy.
Was it before Sunday Night Football? What happened on Sunday Night Football? The Steelers lost. That's what it was. Because the Steelers were winning the division.
Oh, right. Would have pushed the Ravens.
Because they were only 3-1.
If the Ravens lost to the Bengals, it would have pushed everybody down, and you guys would have won.
Right. And then the Steelers had the tiebreaker over the Broncos.
That's crazy.
So the Broncos had the 5 seed for about an hour.
That's crazy.
Or no, I guess the Broncos had the 5 seed for like 6 hours because of the rain delay in Pittsburgh.
That's right. That game was nuts. And honestly, it was a game the Steelers could have won. That game was also wildly weird.
That was crazy good. Dak Prescott made history, by the way. First quarterback in the history of the league to ever throw a touchdown pass in the same game on 2 different days.
Same with an interception, by the way.
Right.
Quarterback to do that. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Name another QB who's ever going to do that. It's not going to happen.
You'd have to have another crazy rain delay like that. It has to be a team that's playing
unless
in the
East.
Unless
the NFL expands to like the Guangdong, what's the Shaq meme?
Yeah, the Guangdong Tigers. You were right.
Guangdong Tigers. Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Yeah, maybe the NFL will expand to include them.
Yeah, man. It's tough. It's so funny. I'm actually mad the Steelers ended up losing this game. But I mean, Dak did his thing when he needed to. He threw an interception. Justin Fields went down and scored, and then Dak said, "Okay, let's go win the game," and they did. And I can't be mad about it. So, good play. Ultimately, 2 interceptions sucks for Dak because I think it just completely negates how great of a game he actually had because he threw for 350 yards and 2 TDs. But those 2 interceptions really hurt him. But also, it's weird. It's weird seeing not CeeDee Lamb as a top 2 receiver on your list. Jalen Tolbert led the team in receiving, 7 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. With Jake Ferguson right behind him with 6 catches and 70 yards. CeeDee had 5 for 62, which is great. It's a good game, but it's weird to see not him, and it's Jalen Tolbert who hasn't really been like that recently. But yeah, I think they also figured out that Zeke does not need to be their number 1 running back, and Rico Dowdle does need to be their number 1 running back because he's playing extremely well too. So hopefully they can continue to figure out stupid things because I don't want to deal with them. So cool. But that's it. That's it for week 5. We both went 7-7 this week, so we're still locked in, tied up in the pick'ems. Whew. We'll see. We'll see after this week. I wonder if we can't possibly be the same again this week, right? It had to be a 1 week thing.
It had to have been a 1 week thing. Statistically speaking, it's pretty unlikely.
All right. So let's talk about the more fun thing of the week, and that is what is our quarter season award winners, and not like if the season ended today, who do we think would be winning the awards? Is what we're going based off of. So let's kick it off. I'm gonna let you know what this is a very easy Eric run segment. So Eric, take it away, man. Let's talk.
All right, let's talk it out. So okay, kind of our major topics of discussion: MVP, Coach of the Year, Opoy, Depoy, O'Roy, D-Roy, because we'll talk Comeback Player of the Year too. But I think that's kind of obvious at this point,
right?
Because Walter Payton Man of the Year is kind of the other major award, but obviously that's not something we should be predicting at this point. So if we wanted to talk about kind of the candidates here, I think MVP might be the most interesting one here because it doesn't feel like there is a runaway candidate. If you look at Vegas odds right now, the favorite to win MVP is Patrick Mahomes, which I think for anybody who's actually watching football doesn't feel accurate.
Correct.
Sure, Patrick Mahomes is probably the biggest name in the league right now, and he's the quarterback of what could be the best team in the league right now.
Right.
But I kind of don't feel like that the Chiefs are winning games because of Patrick Mahomes.
Right. And I get
You know,
why he's the Vegas leader.
I get why he's the Vegas leader. The Chiefs are 5-0, and he's the face of that team for sure. But this year, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is the difference maker, and that kind of leads me in a little bit of a weird direction here, because let's talk Depoy and convince me that it's not Chris Jones.
I can't convince you because it's the right call. I think Chris Jones is I was watching a video, and I don't like siding with what's his face off of First Take. What's his name? It's to do with the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Stephen A. Smith?
Not Stephen A. Smith. I know Stephen A. It's the white dude.
Nick something.
Nick Wright.
Nick Wright.
What I'm thinking of.
I kept wanting to call him Nick Cannon. I'm like, that is not Nick Cannon.
Not Nick Cannon. Yeah, and he's not. He didn't make a wrong statement. Can you, like, the last time? Oh gosh, it was something insane. I was like, dude, he's right. That's crazy. So anyway, something big happened. The last time it ever happened, like the last time the Chiefs were ever trailing by double digits, was the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Was the last time they trailed by double digits. Some insane stat like that. And the next longest streak was like the Bears or something crazy, which, by the way, the Bears defense is insane. But it's like crazy to think about those little things and how good that defense is. And Chris Jones is the anchor of that defense. Justin Reed gets a lot of plays made, but it's because the people up front are causing mayhem on the quarterback. So I agree.
Yes.
Chris Jones is that guy.
If you look at Vegas odds right now, Chris Jones is actually the number 4 favorite right now. He's tied for third based on what I'm looking at.
Is like
he's
Aiden
tied for third
Hutchinson in that conversation too?
He's tied for third with Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Aiden Hutchinson right now is the favorite, and he's like right ahead of TJ Watt.
Okay, Aiden
Which,
Hutchinson's the
again,
other one that makes sense too.
Again, TJ Watt kind of feels like, yeah, it's the defensive player of the year because he's the best defensive player on the best defensive team, and it's TJ Watt.
Right.
But it kind of feels like I think Hutch and Chris Jones right now are kind of the top 2 candidates, and I personally feel like it's Chris Jones.
I agree. If the Lions keep playing how they're playing, Hutch definitely has a case.
Yeah.
Okay,
so there's a little Opoy or Depoy. Let's talk a little Opoy. So obviously Opoy typically goes to the best non-quarterback,
right,
because a quarterback is probably going to win the MVP. And honestly, there's a few names that stand out, but I don't know if I could pick out a singular player who's the best non-quarterback on offense right now, because I think of 3.
I think it is?
I think of 3 names. You tell me who.
Yeah, you go. I mean, I think it should just be Derrick Henry.
He's one of the names I think of.
He's just phenomenal. I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns multiple times this season. I mean, he's doing a lot of work, and he makes the Ravens' offense so diverse. I mean, you just hand him the ball, and sometimes he'll just ramble for 50 yards just because he feels like it. And the offensive line just makes it so easy for him. So I definitely like Henry.
I think Derrick Henry is my 1 right now, for sure.
Absolutely. The other one that's coming to mind is James Cook. Feels really weird, but he's been playing really well.
I wasn't thinking of James Cook, but I don't entirely hate that pick.
I think I need to see more consistency, but I think he could be in the conversation. What were your other ones?
Yeah. Jettas and Saquon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. Saquon looks great. Obviously, Jettas looks great. I think the Eagles are suffering a little bit, which is why Saquon's not higher.
I think Saquon would definitely be in the conversation more if the Eagles were better.
Yeah. Like, if I had to pick a concrete one, though, I really am giving it to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry.
I think I would probably lean Derrick Henry as well.
I think Henry or Jettas. Henry is my favorite, though, right now. Saquon is in that conversation, though. I do like James Cook, though. I'm telling you right now. James Cook could be really solid for that conversation.
Yeah. Let's knock out our rookies then, because O'Roy, that's super obvious, right? It's Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
right now.
Jaden Daniels. No questions asked. The only other person that could be in the conversation is Malik Neighbors if Jaden Daniels falls off the face of the planet, but Malik Neighbors is also hurt. So that's about it.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors is hurt. I feel like he's 2 right now. I don't think Caleb Williams is the worst candidate in the world.
Yeah,
I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the worst candidate in the world. Vegas actually right now has Bo Nix at 5, which that's not the worst candidate in the world, but none of them are even comparably close to Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels playing out of his mind, man. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, however, defensive rookie,
I feel like
Defensive
nobody
rookie.
really stood out, but I'd love to see. Hold on, I want to see Vegas odds because this sounds wild, but it's only because he hasn't gotten an interception yet. Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles cornerback, he's pretty good. He's been playing really, really well.
He's 4 right now.
Love that. I love that for us. He's so good, bro. I don't even know anybody else on this list.
So the number 1 guy right now is Jared Verse,
even
which
know
I think is the answer. He leads the
honest,
league
I
in
don't know who that
pressures,
is.
like the NFL.
Oh,
not
he plays
rookies.
for the Rams.
Yeah, not rookies, like the NFL. He leads
Okay.
the league in
I
pressures.
see that. Okay. Yeah. No,
So
that's awesome.
That's definitely a good stat to have if you're trying to win D-Roy.
Yep, facts.
So yeah,
I know Laitu Latu. I can never say that guy's
I think
name.
Laiatu Latu,
Laiatu Latu. Thank you, God.
which
I knew it was
sounds
something-
like
it was
a
so
like a
flawed.
Mario villain, you know.
Yeah.
Laiatu Latu,
Bro, have you
I
ever
believe is
seen
like
him?
I want to say he's like 3rd in the league in pressures or something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
So,
He's on the Colts. Yeah. Have you looked at this guy's face? He's kind of scary. I wouldn't want him running at me. That's for sure. A little
No, he
scary.
looks like a little sweetheart.
We must not be looking at the same picture. I'm gonna. This is the picture I see, and I'm just. Oh, my upload failed. Never mind. We'll have to talk later. That's okay. Show it to you later. That was a little scary. It's okay though. We'll live. Dallas Turner, I know that is. That's the other person I see on this list. But yeah, I really like. I think Quinyon Mitchell deserves some recognition because he has like, when he's guarding people, he's actually like doing a great job shutting them down. Like Mike Evans had like 1 catch on him in the Bucs game, and Mike Evans went off in the Bucs game. So. Or in the Eagles game, so it's like crazy to look at. But definitely, I guess Jared Verse makes sense. Leading the league in pressures as a rookie is no joke.
Yeah,
And then he's on the Rams, right? So coming in and taking over that kind of
that spot for Aaron Donald,
is
is
impressive.
impressive.
Not easy. So
Yeah,
cool, good for him. Yeah, we'll give the nod to Verse for now. When Quinyon Mitchell if Quinyon Mitchell can get like 1 or 2 interceptions, it's a whole different ballgame. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
Tell you that.
Okay, Coach of the Year. It kind of feels like there's 2 candidates in my mind that pop up. That
if the
I'm having
right now,
there's no way it's not Kevin O'Connell.
right? The Vikings head coach, right?
Yes.
That's what we have to think about. If the season ended right now,
If the season ended right now, it's Kevin O'Connell, 1,000%. However, I think a close second is Dan Quinn.
He is the head coach over. He just got a new job. Where is he? Atlanta.
Commanders.
No, he's on the
Washington.
Commanders. Yes, absolutely. He's the other person.
He was the head coach in Atlanta before he
Yeah,
got
it was
fired.
Atlanta,
took
Dallas,
the DC
DC,
job in Dallas, and
then
now
the
he's the
Commanders
head coach in Washington.
I knew it was one of the red teams. I couldn't remember what it was. It was
Yeah.
the Commanders. Yeah, no, he's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
4-1, doing great with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's definitely doing a great job. We'll see if they can sustain that because we're having the same type of conversation. Like if they're looking similar at the week 9 mark when we have this halftime same conversation, is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think some other candidates to potentially consider: Dan Campbell, of course.
Of course.
I think D'Amico Ryans.
The Texans coach. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think if you talk like a few weeks ago that have kind of dropped off a little bit would be like Mike Tomlin and Mike McDonald.
Yeah. Mike McDonald.
That's the new head coach in Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure I was right. I was going to say I'm pretty sure it's Seattle, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah. If you look at Vegas right now, Sean Payton is actually number 3.
Which, I mean, if you're 3-2, that's respectable, right?
Yeah.
That's makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm
Like,
assuming one is Kevin O'Connell.
It's Kevin O'Connell. Dan Quinn's right behind him. A
then-
pretty significant gap, Sean Payton,
Yeah.
right now.
Those two feel like the clear favorites right now. For
Yeah.
sure. But I would definitely give
Okay.
the nod to Kevin O'Connell if it ended
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Comeback player of the year, there's no reason it's not Sam Darnold, right?
Sam Darnold, right? Yeah. I can't think of another person that. Did anyone come back from any crazy injuries?
Like Joe
'Cause
Burrow,
Aaron
but like
Rodgers isn't playing away. Well,
Aaron,
Joe Burrow's
yeah,
not
Joe
playing the
Burrow isn't.
greatest.
Aaron Rodgers isn't.
Sam Darnold for sure. Then is there?
Kirk Cousins maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
but
think
he
Kirk
wasn't really
Cous- I
coming
don't-
back from injury or anything like that.
He ruptured his Achilles last year.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
I didn't remember him rupturing his Achilles. I feel like an idiot. That's why they sucked last year. They also had no Jettas for like half the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Kirk Cousins, maybe.
Actually, according to Vegas odds, the leading candidates right now are A-Rod and Kirk Cousins.
That's crazy. They're not even
Right
count Sam
behind
Darnold?
them, right behind them is Sam Darnold.
Okay. Maybe it's
And then
because
Joe
he didn't get
Burrow.
hurt. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, and then Joe Burrow, and then Kyler Murray. Actually, I don't hate that pick either.
I don't either. They need to win more games though. I think if they
Yeah.
make the playoffs, that's a good one. I definitely can see Kirk Coban's. I mean, they're winning their division, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I kind of disagree with Aaron Rodgers.
I do 100% disagree with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but my heart tells me it's Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold is not only comeback player of the year right now, he's
An MVP
potentially the MVP.
To me, he's the MVP right now.
Right, like on the list, he's number 6 odds wise.
What? Okay, so
Yeah.
hold on. Let me see if I can figure it out because there's 5 names above him. One of them is Mahomes,
Yes.
Lamar.
There's 2 people tied for second. One of them is Lamar.
Has to be like Lamar and dude, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's 3.
Okay.
So I guess Sam Darnold's technically 5th because you got 2 people tied for second. But
So I
yes.
have 1, 2, 3. I have another person in second, and I'm missing 4. Oh, CJ Stroud.
CJ's the other guy tied for 2.
That makes sense. And then 4.
You'll never guess this one.
Is it like Derrick Henry?
No.
Okay. Am I on the like that running back wide receiver? Is it Jettas?
No.
Okay.
It's another quarterback.
It's not a quarterback. I didn't think so.
It's another
Oh,
quarterback.
it is another quarterback.
It's a quarterback.
Is it Dak?
Nope.
Okay. Thank God. Is it Goff?
Nope.
God dang it. That was the only other one I felt good about.
It's Jaden
Baker?
Daniels.
Oh, that makes sense. The 4-1 guy? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Over Sam Darnold?
That's what's kind of shocking to me.
That's crazy. I would have expected Jade Daniels, like, them swapped makes sense.
Yeah.
My favorite's Sam Darnold.
You got Sam Darnold at you got Sam Darnold at 6 right now. Joe Burrow at 7 right now.
I guess he as an individual is playing well, but your team has to win MVP, is what I've learned.
Yeah. And then Brock Purdy.
What?
And then you got a tie between Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and Kyler.
What?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not.
Oh, never mind. 4-way tie, them and Kirko.
I'm not one to be upset about things, but like I feel like Justin Jefferson should be above some of these people. Derrick Henry, fucking Saquon Barkley probably could be above them because they have similar records. Like what? What are we talking
Derrick
about?
Henry is the highest non-QB on this list.
Which makes sense because he's the best non-QB in the league right now.
Probably. That's a good point. Yeah. So like of all the top candidates, Mahomes is not my personal MVP.
I do not like him for the MVP right now. I honestly would
I don't
rather
think so
pick
either.
CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, and Sam Darnold over him today.
I would pick Lamar over him.
Lamar too.
Josh Allen maybe.
Yeah, they're
That's
3
a
and 2.
hard maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
They're 3 and 2.
It's hard for me
They're
to be
3
like,
and 2. Josh Allen looked good the first 3 weeks, but kind of struggled the last 2.
Yeah,
You know?
it's hard for me to be like, oh man, hey, they're 5-0, and Patrick Mahomes is kind of cooking. Like he's not playing bad. You know, he's doing his job. So that's all I'm gonna say. His defense looks great. That's what helps him.
So like I think if I had to pick one right now, I think it's Lamar to repeat personally.
That's a great
But-
pick. I was going Sam Darnold because I think
I don't hate
he's
Sam.
fun.
He's probably my 2 right now
He's
personally.
fun, but I was.
It's definitely fun. And I think I'm kind of leaning away from Sam Darnold because I think he's my easy pick to win comeback player.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it would,
Imagine
not
if he
saying
would come
a
back
player
and
can't.
MVP. That's crazy.
Yeah, not saying a player can't do that. It just feels like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, Jaden Daniels might be in this conversation this year.
Possibly. You never know.
That's crazy.
When all's said and done. I think a sleeper one that I think is rated way too low right now though is Jared Goff.
Yeah, very sleeper and very low. Should not be in the same category as Brock Purdy. That's for sure.
Should not be lower than Brock Purdy.
Oh, he's lower than Brock Purdy?
Yes.
And Brock Purdy's 2 and 3?
Yeah.
And doesn't look great in a couple games. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. My favorite is that no one has Jalen Hurts anywhere near the top of their list.
Jalen Hurts is like the next person on that list. I lost track of the number.
Yeah, he's not. I mean,
But he's the next one.
I don't think he deserves to be in the list. It's just funny that they had like Brock Purdy, who I feel like are playing very similar to how Jalen Hurts is playing, or other people, and they're like, yeah, Jalen Hurts sucks. And I'm like, you guys, that's crazy, man. He does have a turnover problem, though. I'm not going to say that he doesn't. All right.
It's
Anyway.
very interesting that you can like look at people on this list at all. Like you can take a bet, like plus 100,000 odds or something like that.
Yeah.
Bet Russell Wilson's the MVP and shit like that right
Oh yeah,
now.
watch Russell Wilson, real comeback player of the year.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey.
That'd be crazy. Christian McCaffrey winning MVP while playing 8 games would be insane. If we're really talking about most valuable player, it might be Christian fucking McCaffrey.
It could be. Do you think there's an argument for most valuable player to be won by a team who sucks because they were so good the year before and now they suddenly don't have that player? Like if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play this year, is there evidence that he really is the most valuable player? Objectively speaking,
I would argue I think he's their second. I think Trent Williams is their most valuable player.
Yes, I get what you mean, but like, do you agree that yeah, that'd be an interesting argument.
Yeah. You know what? Christian McCaffrey's just staying out this season so he can win comeback player of the year next year.
Would be huge.
Yep.
Didn't he already win comeback player of the year?
Probably. He's been hurt so many times.
Yeah. He's basically RoboCop at this point. Honestly. With his knees.
Yep. All right.
He's more machine than man now.
He always has been. Let's be real.
Yep. Okay, let's drop some week 6 preddies then.
All right.
We got Thursday Night Football happening canonically tomorrow for us.
Yes.
NFC West matchup. We got 49ers in Seattle playing the Seahawks.
This is tough.
Mm-hmm.
This is tough.
This is a tough game to call.
Yeah, I mean, in Seattle is always tough. How the Seahawks are playing, how the Niners are playing. The Niners don't want to lose this game. I know this. The Seahawks really want to win this game, and the reason they want to is they get a really nice lead on the division. And for this, the only reason that I'm feeling even zesty about this pick is because there's no Christian McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuel has not been playing his best football because he has been hurt earlier in the season. I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks this week. I did change my mind. I had the Niners earlier today, and I was like, after kind of looking at it and talking about it, especially with the game that we saw with the Cardinals, it's hard for me to want to be like, yeah, I trust the Niners wholeheartedly. I'm going to go with Seattle. They have been playing a lot better than the Cardinals have. That's for sure.
I'm curious, who is canonically the underdog?
In the canon?
The Niners are currently the underdog here.
Interesting.
3.5 point, or no, I'm sorry, the Seahawks are currently the underdog. They're 3.5 point underdogs. Okay, it kind of felt like taking the Niners meant I was taking the underdog because it's that close. I really do think so. But no, I guess you're the one making the bold prediction here. Felt like me picking the Niners was bold, but I guess not. I'm going with the Niners.
I don't think picking the Niners is bold. It feels like it's like it makes sense. I was gonna pick the Niners, but I feel like the Seahawks end up pulling it out.
Yeah.
All right. To London for game 2.
London round 2. Sunday morning, we got Jaguars in their first of 2 London games taking on the Bears.
Yeah, Jacksonville's basically the home team, and honestly, it's good that they're going to be in London for a couple of weeks. It's prayers up for everybody that has to go through anything in Florida.
Yes,
this
most definitely
this hurricane season, and I hope everyone is healthy, safe, and everyone is okay. But this is a tough situation, of course. But I am going to go with Chicago. Jacksonville, I loved what they did against the Colts, but I don't think the Bears defense is anywhere near the Colts defense. So give me the Bears to win the game.
Excuse me. I'm also picking the Bears.
Yeah, that defense is just locked down. It keeps them in games. But I think they're missing Jaquan Brisker. I think he's not traveling with the team, so that's something to keep in mind too. But I still take the Bears. I think the rest of the defense is still not nasty. Commanders at Ravens is a sneaky fun game, by the way.
Who would have seen this one coming?
Dude, earlier in the season, if you guys were like, "Yeah, guys, we're gonna be hype about the Ravens Commanders," I'd have been like, "Why? The Ravens?"
No,
are
you're
about
not.
To
if you
stomp
travel
them
back
in
10
Baltimore
years and said Commanders Ravens is going to be the best
and
game
now
of
I'm
Week
watching
6
Jaden Daniels cook, and I'm like, man.
Again, somebody would have told you who the hell are the Commanders. But
right. It's great. It's great to see it. I'm excited for this game wholeheartedly. I'm gonna take the Ravens to win it, because I think they're the better team. But the Commanders, I think, are sneaky. And I mean, going 5-1 would be insane.
I don't hate the idea of picking the Commanders here, but I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, after what I've seen from Baltimore, I trust them a little bit more to win these types of games, especially at home.
Yeah.
Cardinals travel to Green Bay to take on the Pack.
Interesting matchup, because you got two teams who I feel like are decent, Packers are maybe a bit above average. Cardinals are maybe a bit below average, but they're both in that decent-ish range. The fact that it's in Green Bay, I think on paper means that Green Bay is the better team and should win this game. I kind of just smell an upset though, and I'm picking the Cardinals, probably against my better judgment, but I'm going with Arizona.
I think Arizona got their upset last week on some craziness, so I don't think they do it in the cold this time. So I'm gonna go with the Pack. Next up, Texans head to New England to take on the Pats.
Patriots are starting Drake May.
Yeah, the first time
against the Texans defense.
That's really mean, by the way.
This dude's gonna die.
Mayo, that was I don't know if that was your best idea. I mean, maybe one more week and play him in like London or something against the Jags, which might seem a little simpler.
Yeah, I think if you gave him one more week, it'd be fine because you got what, Jags, Jets, Titans, Bears.
Maybe one to get the hard game out of the way, make him feel like knock him all the way down so he only can climb up or something. But I'm gonna go Texans.
Welcome to the NFL. He needs his welcome to the NFL moment, I guess.
I guess D'Amico Ryans versus Jerry Mayo is kind of funny because weren't they both really big defensive dudes in the NFL?
They were, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's a fun matchup then, just coach wise. By the way, Texans win this game. That's just my man.
Yeah, I'm going with Texans as well. I have no reason to think the Patriots win.
NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Again, same situation for both of these teams. Hope everything goes according to plan and no strayaways for anything, and hope everyone is okay, healthy, and happy.
Yes.
However, I am going to take Tampa to win the football game. Spencer Rattler is starting. No Derek Carr, which is weird. So feels weird because I feel like he's not playing bad. So I don't know. I don't know if they're just doing this to play. Like they're just week 6
Derek Carr's playing him. Derek Carr's hurt.
Oh, he got hurt?
He's going to miss a couple weeks.
Oh, well, then that's why. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's why.
I thought he just got benched.
No, he did not get benched.
There's no way they just benched Derek Carr like that.
He has an oblique injury and will probably miss like 2 to 3 weeks. He didn't hit IR.
You're right.
So it's not that bad, but
weeks,
yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, give me Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
Happy Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore fist fight day to those who celebrate myself.
Let's run it up. I love this. This is the biggest day of the season, honestly. This is one of the better ones.
It's one of the two, that's for sure.
One of the two.
Happy Marshawn Lattimore and Mike. Like, have you seen those memes? Like, enough about couples. Show me two characters who hate each other. These are two characters who hate each other. Is Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore.
Facts.
Like this is 2020 the 2020 decades Josh Norman OBJ beef.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. No, this one's funny. And then like they just be hitting each other for no reason sometimes too.
Oh yeah, it's great. This is so much fun. But for all the reasons you said, Bucks.
All right, and then Cleveland is heading to Philadelphia to play the Eagles in Philly. Cleveland has not looked great. They did just lose to the Giants in embarrassing fashion. I'm sorry. That wasn't the Giants. Who did they play this week? The Commanders. The other
Browns
NFC
played
East
the
team.
Commanders. Yeah.
In embarrassing fashion. And honestly, with a healthy Eagles team, I expect the same thing to happen. So give me the Eagles.
Eagles are coming off a bye too, and I think that makes a huge difference. Much healthier. Yeah, I'm going with Philly.
And they're at home, which is great.
Yeah.
All right. Colts are heading to Tennessee to play the Titans. This feels like a weird matchup. No clear show on Anthony Richardson playing yet. However, I personally still think Joe Flacco-led Colts is better than the Titans, so I'm going to go with the Colts.
It seems like JT might be back for the Colts, which I think could make a huge difference. However, the Titans are coming off of a bye. I think the Titans are kind of one of those sneaky teams. That like I think they play teams close. I think it is a bit of an upset, but I'm gonna go with the Titans at home to win.
Okay. I don't think it's an upset, really. It's a home team. Is this not a divisional game too?
It is. Yeah, AFC South.
Yeah, you never know with those games, man. You never know. All right. Chargers are heading to Denver to take on the Broncos. How are we feeling about this game?
Chargers are coming off a bye, which opportunity to get healthy because Justin Herbert was a bit banged up. They lost some defensive pieces. Derwin James was suspended or banged up. I can't remember now.
I think he has to serve a 1-game suspension. So I think this is his 1-game suspension.
No, I thought he did against the Chiefs. I thought the Chiefs was his suspension game.
You're right. So then he should be fine.
Because I remember talking about the fix being in.
You're right. Then he should be fine for this game.
Yeah, so I don't, like, from a neutral perspective, this is, I think, a closer matchup than a lot of people think it is. Because the Chargers started 2-0. They lost 2, and then they just hit their bye week. I don't think the Chargers are a bad team. The Broncos are hot. They're coming off of 3 straight, and they're in Denver again. And honestly, I think if this game was in LA, I would be picking the Chargers. The fact that it's in Denver, I'm gonna pick the Broncos. However, the Broncos do suck.
Yes.
They're not a good team because I don't have
Terrible
hope.
roster.
Terrible.
Terrible.
But I am going to pick the Broncos nonetheless.
I am excited that they are on a 3-game winning streak, and I kind of want them to continue to ride that heat because I think after this it's going to be a little bit tougher.
You got Saints on Thursday.
I think post.
Yeah, you got Saints on Thursday. You got Panthers week 8. But then after that, the Broncos hit their hard part of their schedule.
Ravens, Chiefs,
Falcons, then into
Raiders,
Vegas.
Then Monday Night Football against
Cleveland.
the Browns.
And then you're bye.
Then finally you're bye. And then I think that's when you finally, like, kind of, we'll see.
Yeah, that's when you kind of ease off a little bit because they finished the season with Colts in LA, in Cincinnati, and then finished the season at home against the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I think they want to get these wins, especially the divisional wins at home because, I mean, at this point they're playing somewhat good football. So hopefully they can continue to be the football team that I think they are, especially that defensive side of the ball is where they succeed the most, and I think they have the most talent. So I would like to go with Denver to win this game.
Yep. Okay, we got Steelers, we got Raiders. Another classic little sneaky AFC rivalry.
Right. The Steelers have had some wild classic games, it feels like, but it's also because the Steelers have been around forever. But the Cowboys...
Yeah, isn't it weird that the Steelers, who have been a franchise in the NFL for what feels like forever, and are definitely one of the most historic franchises in the NFL because of their dominance in the 70s and their sneaky goodness throughout, like, basically the rest of time, too?
Yeah. Wild.
I mean, you know, the Steelers and the Patriots have won more Super Bowls than any other franchise at the end of the day. So believe it or not, the Steelers have a lot of rivalries. This is always a fun one. The Raiders. I think Steelers-Raiders is just like sneaky fun.
Yeah.
In Vegas, could matter. The Raiders, I think, are kind of reeling, but so are the Steelers.
All right, the Steelers have lost a couple in a row.
It kind of feels like this is an opportunity for both of these teams to reset, but because there's so many question marks with the Raiders QB situation, and you're playing the Steelers defense, I kind of feel like that's a lot to overcome. So I'm going to go with the Steelers to win this week.
I agree. I think the Steelers winning this week makes total sense. The Raiders, with their QB struggles, I mean, they threw 3 collective picks last week, and that's the Broncos. I feel like they're going to do something nasty this week because Minkah Fitzpatrick is a menace to society with TJ Watt up front. This should be a Steelers win. Next up, we have this is NFC South divisional matchup. Am I right? Am I dumb? No, I'm not dumb. Falcons are playing the Panthers, and I don't trust the Panthers to win football games, so I'm going with the Falcons, which is crazy, by the way, because we used to say that about the Falcons.
Right, we used to say that about the Falcons, man. But all it took was a little Kirk Cobain's dash is something nice. Falcons are coming off the
biggest Kirk Cousins hater. I still am, but it's Atlanta, so I can't be too big of a hater. I think it was just Minnesota. Maybe it was just the purple. Maybe I just don't like purple. Who knows?
I mean, to be fair, I don't think you hated Kirk Cousins. I think you hated Minnesota and then kind of associated those things.
Yeah, I think.
Well, and to be fair, you didn't. You know, you probably weren't the biggest Kirk Cousins fan when he was in Washington, too.
Yeah,
to be fair.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Him in Washington wasn't too bad because they sucked the whole time, so it didn't matter.
Right. You know, but still.
Valid.
I don't fucking like Aiden O'Connell. What's your point? You know, he didn't do nothing to me. He didn't do nothing wrong. But I just don't like his stupid face because he plays for the Raiders. It's just how it goes.
When I see Dak Prescott, it's on site, bro. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
I get it. I understand.
Yeah. So
I also don't like the Atlanta Falcons, but that's just me though.
I don't know. I always kind of sneaky like the Atlanta Falcons. I have a great story with the Falcons.
Okay.
This is when Corbett was still in college and was about to get drafted. So this would have been the 2018 draft.
Okay.
So this would have been like probably like January, February of 2018. We had a bunch of NFL scouts that would show up to our facility and do workouts with him. And sometimes, you know, hey, the equipment guy's around. Can you come hold a bag for us or whatever?
Right.
Like I did a workout with the Patriots with him.
That's wild.
And my boss at the time did a workout with the Falcons
Okay.
when they were here, and ended up spraining his ankle because Corbett was, an athlete and we're not.
Right.
So Corbett told the Falcons guy the next day about what happened. So the Falcons guy sent my boss like a T-shirt and a hat. So
He just has a-
I think my mom still has the Falcons hat because he's like, I don't want this shit. Because my boss, before he was at Nevada, worked in the NFL. He worked for the Browns and he worked for the Broncos.
That's wild.
So he had a bunch of old Browns and Broncos stuff, but he's like, I don't care about the Falcons. Do you want this? I'm like, sure. So I'm sure my mom still has a Falcons hat
That's
that
kinda
I got
funny.
from that. So I've always kind of liked the Falcons for that story.
That is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
they were. I think.
Yeah,
I think that entire
I always
2017
liked the
Super Bowl
Falcons.
path maybe just hate teams for no reason, and
Yeah.
one of them was the Falcons. I don't know. They were in our way, and we
Mm-hmm.
just did we blow the Vikings out 38-7? Yeah, but like they were still in our way. They were.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are supposed to lose this game, so I just associated with hating them for no reason. Like Case Keenum, I still don't like that man to this day. To this day.
That's former Denver Broncos quarterback Case Keenum, by the way. You're fucking talking about.
Anyway,
So
going
despite the
Falcons, by the
memes, I hate the Falcons. But I've always kind of liked the Falcons. This is kind of I feel like the Falcons are kind of bucking the trend, and I don't have reason to think they lose to the Panthers. So yeah, I'm going with Atlanta.
yeah, like Pem does. I don't pick the Falcons to win, but I never pick the Panthers to win. So those cancel out. I pick the Falcons. Like,
Yeah.
okay, probably game of the week? Question mark.
Lions Cowboys.
It could be Ravens Commanders, but I think this could be
It's
potential.
probably Ravens Commanders, but I think this is 2.
This has potential.
Yeah.
Lions
Lions
at
Cowboys
is
is fun.
It's very fun.
We got the Thanksgiving Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, these teams do always play on Thanksgiving. Huh? Huh. Wild. Yeah, I can't tell you the last
Yeah.
time the Eagles have played a Thanksgiving game. I don't think that starts this year either. Nope.
No, not this year. It's week 13. I
Nope,
remember
it's
that
the
much.
Giants. When do we play? Oh, we play the Ravens. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I think that's the No, that's the Monday night game against the
Yeah,
Browns.
you guys get
that's
the
right.
Monday night game against the Browns. Yeah, way to
Yeah.
ruin my Thanksgiving week, bro.
Anytime.
Dude, do we have to play the Ravens? It's gonna be some bird-on-bird crime out there. And one bird in particular is going to get eviscerated.
However, let's talk Lions Cowboys. It's a fun matchup. Lions are coming off a bye, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
And I also kind of feel like they're the better team. So give me the Lions to win in Jerry World.
I agree, and I don't think the Cowboys have won a game at home this season. Let's see if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember.
They're 3-2.
They won. They won week 1 against the Browns, right?
Yeah, in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, they lost to the Saints at home. They lost to the Ravens at home.
They beat the Giants.
They
They haven't won at home yet.
This is a chance to win their first home game, and I don't think it starts now. So, yeah, let's take it there. And then they're gonna be on a bye week next week, but then they go into San Francisco after. Whoo! Man, imagine winning the division last season. Couldn't be
Oh,
us.
Davion.
What?
You have to pick the Cowboys.
Why do I have to pick the Cowboys?
Because if they don't win this game, their next home game is against the Eagles in week 10.
So the trend continues. I don't see the issue, bro. What are we talking about?
Fair enough. They can fucking beat the Texans or something.
It's tough though, because we definitely never win in Jerry World, because I swear it's always either we just something stupid happens, or like there's this vivid memory I have. I was like, oh my gosh, we haven't beat the Cowboys in Dallas in so long. And then the game went to fucking overtime, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have a chance to win. And they're driving, and I kid you not, I don't remember which game this was. It was like 2019, or it was 2018. It was the year after we won the Super Bowl, right? It was the season after. We lost the division, which was fine, but this was a division-setting game in Dallas, and if we won, we ended up winning the division, and we get like the 3 seed or something crazy like that. We ended up with like the 5 seed and ended up, beating the Bears, history, so on and so forth.
The double doink and then the Alshon Jeffrey incident.
Oh my God, that game was anyway. So the Saints incident. So then I don't remember who our cornerback who did this, but he, kid you not, I think it was Maddox, and he swats the ball. Like, I kid you not, gets his hand in there, ball gets swatted, but it hits the top of his hand So it pops up into the Cowboy dude's hand, and he scores. And I was like, this is some bullshit. Like,
I feel like I remember that.
How do we make one of the greatest defense? It was like he lays out. Like he lays out, hits the wall. I was like, yes! And then it pops up into his hand. I was like, what? I was so mad, bro. I was so heated. I will never forget that moment. So yeah, we don't win in Dallas. And that moment is engraved in my brain. And like last season, didn't we have to have like the Gardner? That wasn't last season. That was the season beforehand. Was the Gardner Minshewing. I don't remember what happened this year. I think we just got smoked. I think it was something stupid happened. No, we almost won that game because didn't Josh Sweat get a pick and he like stiff-armed Dak Prescott? Anyway, we don't win in Jerry World. I picked the Lions to win this game. Superstitions aside, we will beat them. I have faith. We're not going to win in Dallas, but let's do it. Let's do it. That's crazy that they don't have another home game for 4 weeks.
That is kind of crazy.
In San Fran, in Atlanta, home against the Eagles is crazy. That's actually a tough stretch too. Niners, Falcons. It's because the Falcons are on the road. If it was at home, it's a whole different story we're having. Then at home against the Eagles,
home against the Texans and then in Washington.
That's a tough stretch for them.
Like I feel like the Cowboys don't have a real they should win this until Thanksgiving. You know?
They get the Giants. Yeah. Let's hope that the week 13 is their first home game win. Let's pray for that. Or maybe week 11.
How about we just hope they don't win at home at all? Because fuck the Cowboys.
Fuck the Cowboys. Absolutely. You know what? You're right. Lions all the way.
Let's go with the Lions.
All right. And speaking of the NFC East, the Bengals are heading to MetLife Stadium to play the Giants. We talked about it. I think the Bengals are a significantly better team. Being 1-4 does not mean that they are not. They're worse than the Giants. So give me the Bengals.
I'm thinking about this because I currently have the Giants picked, and I don't know how much I like it.
I think that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's a little outlandish.
In hindsight, it does feel a little outlandish.
Malik Neighbors isn't playing, is he? Is he okay?
Let's look. Sorry, I was concentrating.
Oh, he missed practice with a concussion today. He's still in concussion protocol.
Then no, fuck that. Bengals.
He might play, but because it's
still
Sunday
fuck
night,
that.
But, yeah,
no, way too risky. Way too risky.
Yeah,
give me the Bengals.
And then in back-to-back days, we have MetLife games. Bills. Wow, that was crazy. Bills play the Jets.
Little AFC East matchup.
Little AFC East
for you. I mean, the Jets just fired their coach. I think they're reeling. Bills.
I'm also going Bills. I think the Bills are a better team. The Jets look weird, especially with, they're firing their coach. Sometimes that fires your team up. Other times it doesn't. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm going to go Buffalo to win this game, especially after the loss that they just had to Houston.
Yep. Our buys this week, we got Chiefs, Dolphins, Rams, and Vikings are off this week.
Yep. We're going to have 2 undefeated teams still after this week, which is crazy to talk about.
Our 2 undefeated teams play the Lions and the Niners next week, too. So, should be some testers.
They are definitely testers. That's a Super Bowl rematch and then a big NFC North showdown. And that's a big one because that's the division leaders right now.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker's going to mean a lot. The Eagles finally play a divisional matchup for the first time this season in week 7, by the way. We literally play them so late. We always play all our random hard teams at the beginning of the season and then just get the random division.
They've done that with the Broncos, too, lately. Like, this is the first year I think the Broncos always do, we play the Raiders in week 1 or the Chargers in week 1, and then we don't see another divisional opponent until, week 11 or some shit like that. Bro, I feel like that's what happened the last few years.
I just don't get it.
It feels like they spread it out nicely this year because we got 5, 6, 10, 12... 16, 18 this year, our division weeks.
Dude, we have 7 because we haven't played one yet. So it's going to be 7, 10, 11. 7, 10, 11. Oh, it's probably 16, 17, 18.
16, 17, 18.
We always play the last 3 games of the season. I don't get why they keep doing this to us. They do it to all the NFC East teams too. If you go look at the last 3 weeks, it's they're probably all playing NFC. Cowboys don't play someone week 16. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. It's always some stupidity, but the Cowboys play the Eagles in week 17. Cowboys. The Giants don't play anyone. And then the last week is always, it's just divisional matchup mayhem with every team because they want to,
Yeah, they always do division matchups in 18.
Yeah, just for the fun of it. We always get 16, 17, 18, so it always makes our last 3 weeks like the hardest 3 weeks we've ever had in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the week before that, we play the Pennsylvania Showdown at home, thankfully. Thank God we get the Panthers in that mix. Because then we play Ravens, Panthers, Steelers, divisional matchups. What is that? What is going on? Dude, who made the script? Who made the script this season? I didn't ask for this. Why is our schedule so hard? We didn't win the division either, man.
I was going to say, it's because you won the division, but that's just not true. You didn't win the division.
We play the Packers week 1 in Brazil. The Falcons.
So what do you have, the North this year?
I think so.
Do you play the Vikings? Yeah.
So we had the Packers. We got the Falcons. No, we don't play the North because we don't play the Bears this season.
So do you play the South?
Yes, we play the South. The NFC East plays the South.
You play the South.
Yeah, so
and
we
then
play the Falcons. We play the...
You played the Packers because they're the 2 team in the North. You played the Rams because they're the 2 team in the North.
In the West. Yeah.
Or in the West, yeah.
We played the Saints week 3. Who did we play
And then,
last week? We
yeah.
played the Bucks, right? We
Yeah, you
got
played the
all 3
Bucks.
of the South, 3 of the 4 Souths out of the way, and we played their entire division weeks 2, 3, and 4. By the way, and then we get the week 5 bye. It's not like we get a hard schedule, then like a week like 10 bye or something nice.
Yeah.
Then it's like, who said that we had the easiest schedule remaining? The Browns suck, sure, right? But then we play. Who do we play this week? The Giants. Okay, they suck. Week 7. Okay, the Bengals, who are 1-4, but they're not a bad team, right? They're just 1-4. The Jaguars. Okay, maybe this stretch isn't so bad. Maybe I'm overreacting.
maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe this stretch isn't. I'm overreacting. Week 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not too bad. The Eagles in Dallas. Okay, hold on. This is the tough one. Eagles. They're in Dallas, home against the Commanders, at Rams, who probably are going to have Puka and Cooper Kupp back by week 12. Then it's the stupid stretch of Ravens, Panthers, right? Okay, at home, by the way. We get the Panthers at home. The Steelers at home. Then you get the 3 divisional. That's kind of crazy to end the season. What a weird schedule. You get like weird teams. And of course, it was all the South teams that we didn't expect to be like, we didn't expect any of them to be somewhat decent. And all of them ended up being good.
3 of the 4 of them ended up being good.
Yeah, of course.
But
we don't play either we don't play the Panthers till like week 10. So
Yeah.
we got the 3 of them that actually were decent, you know? We're so close to being a freaking 3-1 team too, and that hurts my soul. We're also really close to being a 1-3 team this season, so it's okay. You take what you can
Okay,
get.
so just to recap, I'm taking the Niners, Bears, Ravens, Cardinals, Texans, Bucks, Eagles, Titans, Broncos, Steelers, Falcons, Lions, Bengals, Bills.
And I took Seahawks, Bears, Ravens, Packers, Texans, Bucks, Eagles, Colts, Broncos, Steelers, Falcons, Lions, Bengals, Bills. So we had Niners,
we got
Seahawks differently.
4 different, I believe. Niners, Seahawks, Bears, Jaguars. No, no, not that
We
one.
both picked the Bears.
Niners, Seahawks.
Packers, Cardinals.
Packers, Cardinals.
Right.
Colts, Titans.
Colts, Titans, and
I think that's it, maybe. So maybe only 3.
you almost picked the Giants, but you didn't.
I didn't, yeah. So yeah, just those 3.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, who goes 14-0 this week? Who knows? We actually can say that.
We have a shot of doing it by the time we're talking about it this
Right.
time.
Yeah, exactly. We're not done this time. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that is all for Behind the Plays this episode. It has been a pleasure having you all join us once again for another awesome week of football. Hopefully we can both be happy coming into this podcast week 7, because I don't know what I'm going to do if we walk in here and we are under 500. I'm going to be a little upset. Especially against the Browns. Like if we lost to the Cowboys on the road, I'm pissed, but I'm not as pissed. You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. But the Browns at home, figure your shit out, Philly. If we lose this game, I think Sirianni gets fired. I'm not gonna cap.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm not gonna cap. All right. Well, with that being said, anything to wrap up?
I got nothing. I think that's a great little podcast we got going for you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I hope you guys enjoy the Niners Seahawks game. I think it'll be a fun one. So I'll catch you guys next time, where we just enjoy more football. Enjoy your day. We'll catch you guys next time on Behind the Plays. I'm your host, Davion. With me, as always, is Eric, and we are out of here. Peace.
See ya.